can never get bored of watching Friends. Hey there Potterpuffs, welcome back to my channel. Today is a different style of video because it's nearly my birthday. I am so excited. I don't even know when I'm putting this video out, so it might be on the day of my birthday, it might be just before my birthday, it might be just after my birthday, because I'm actually not going to celebrate it on the day this year. I refuse to put my birthday in the middle of a work week and only have like an evening of birthday time. No way. So it's either going before, after, or both. Now, as you see from the title, I wanted to make a video to celebrate the fact that I'm turning 25, and I was thinking of different ideas. I mean, last year we did the birthday mail, which was amazing, but I now have a bit of a big fan base, I'm going to say, for me to be able to do fan mail without a PO box. So I thought, I know, a great idea popped into my head. I'm going to do a bit of a fact video. I love doing fact videos. Haven't really done many. There's lots of different ones I want to do. Today we're doing quite a light-hearted one, which is 25 things I've learned before I turned 25. Now these are very small things, a lot of them. They're just kind of random things that have popped into my head. And I thought, yep, that's something that over the years I've learned, or just a random knowing. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, because I want all of you guys who are watching me today to become part of the magical Potterpuff community. I regularly post community posts now. I love chatting to you. I reply to as many comments as I can, so it's amazing if you can come and join me so you don't miss any of my future content. Let's get straight on with the video, because I've got 25 things to fit in and I need to start right now. Number one, I thought that when I grew up, I was going to suddenly feel like an adult, and that doesn't happen, because I feel exactly the same as I did when I was 18. I've just got some more knowledge, which I guess is what being an adult is about. But when I was younger, I just think I thought I'd become, I don't know, I'd just be like my parents, essentially. That isn't the case at all. I feel exactly the same. I feel full of fun, just as childish in many respects. I've also got a tinge of being an adult and having lots of responsibilities and a lot more knowledge and knowing how to deal with things, but I still feel like exactly the same person. Number two is school doesn't define your life. When I was at school, I kind of thought it would be like the be-all and end-all of everything. I thought if I don't get my grades, if I can't do this, if these people don't like me, then everything's going to be a mess in my life. It's just going to basically set out the path which I'm going down forever. And that isn't the case at all. I didn't have a great time at school. I had bullying at certain points. I wasn't particularly good in lessons. I was okay, I was just middle of the road. And I kind of felt like if you're not brainy enough or you're not cool enough, then you're not going to go anywhere in life, which is totally the opposite of the truth. As I've grown up over the years, I've just realised that school really doesn't matter. Work is more about experience, in my opinion, than the qualifications you have. And you can change any part of yourself that you don't like. So really, school is just a learning curve. I think you actually learn more after you leave school than you do at school. So if you're in that situation right now, don't worry about it, because you can make your life whatever you want it to be. So number three is probably quite obvious to you, and it's happiness is more important than anything. It literally is. Over the years, I've realised it doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as it makes you happy. It doesn't matter, how much money you've got or different things that you need in life, apart from your health, your happiness. They're the most important things. If you've got loads of money and you're not happy, then it's worth nothing. So you just want to do things that make you smile. And that's that point. That's all there is to it. So number four, I've just looked in my notebook, guys, where I carefully wrote all of this out in colourful pens. And then I noticed that I've written 3 in pink and then 5. And I'm like, well, where's number 4? So it appears I've written 24 things that I've learned before I turn 25. And I'm going to make number 4. We all make mistakes, because I've just made a mistake there and I've literally just left out a point. I don't even know how I did that. Maybe on my draft I had one, but it's not there now. So yeah, we all make mistakes. And there's an example of one. Number 5, weight does creep up on you, even if you're one of those people that just doesn't put it on. Now this is like a myth that everyone talks about, and they say I've got a really fast metabolism, and I know I'm not going to go off on a tangent about this, but as I was growing up, I was always stick thin. People would say you're tiny, there's nothing to you, how do you eat that much and not put any weight on, and all of this kind of stuff, and I used to get fed up of it. And then I moved out, had my own kind of life, and you know what, even though I'm not big, obviously, I put on weight. So just to let you know, if you're one of those people with a fast metabolism, it won't necessarily stick. It is right when people say it may creep up on you, because it did for me. Number 6, some TV personalities will look exactly the same as they did when you were a small child. So you grow up and you're watching certain people on TV, and then you look at them like 20 years later, everyone around you has grown up, you've become an adult, and they still look exactly the same. Do we get to a point in our life where nobody ages? Because that's so weird. It seems like when you enter maybe 30, 40s, you just don't age for like 20 years. Now, some of these TV personalities may have just had plastic surgery, but I'm talking about teachers as well. When I was younger, I had certain teaching assistants, and they look exactly the same now as they did when I was like 5. How does that happen? So number 7 is staying up late isn't what it's cracked up to be. I used to beg my mum to stay up late. Oh, please, another 10 minutes. Oh, can I stay up till 10 o'clock? Can I stay up till 9 o'clock? And when I was younger, it'd be 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Always want to stay up, just like the grown-ups were doing. Nowadays, I can't stay up that late. I'm just like, I actually really want to go to bed. So if I had a bedtime nowadays, I'd probably be okay with it, to be honest. Number 8, hobbies give you something to focus on in life and are so important. Now, I am a person of many hobbies. You've seen it in videos. I obviously have this Harry Potter hobby. I think it's clear to say that I have that one. But not only that, I'm incredibly arty. I like to draw, I like to paint, I like to crochet, I like to make things, I like to do so many different things. I never get home from work in the evenings and I don't know what to do because I've just got so many things that I like to do and I look forward to doing all day. And I think it's important in life to always have things to look forward to, even if they are just little things like, I'm really looking forward to going home and reading my book or drawing this picture. Always gives me a bit of motivation, helps me to better myself. I just think it's the best thing in the world. I couldn't imagine not having any hobbies. Number 9 is tea makes everything better. We all know that I'm an avid tea drinker. I drink loads, I have loads of Harry Potter mugs. I absolutely love it. And in the evening, there is nothing better than sitting down with a nice hot cup of tea whilst you relax. Sometimes I'll have a biscuit, but really it's not about the biscuit for me. It's just all about that English cup of tea. Number 10 is it may seem like time speeds up. I get fed up of hearing the saying, oh, this year's just flown by. Oh, time just goes so fast. Everyone just thinks when you're an adult that time just goes ridiculously fast. It just runs away with us. 1 minute it's January, the next minute it's December. It doesn't go like that at all. People just don't notice what they're doing half of the time, and they're in such a routine that every day just seems a bit monotonous. And that's where I think people get stuck in a rut. So that saying actually really annoys me. And when people say it to me, I almost feel like correcting them because I'm thinking, no, this year's exactly the same length as every other year. It's just that we are busier. That's all it is, we get busier. So I try and make time for myself to do things and really focus on what I'm doing. That's still a New Year's resolution that I'm working on. It's just sitting there, appreciating the moment. And that again sounds quite cheesy, but that's why time goes fast. Kids don't have that same busyness, and that's why time goes slower for them. That's all I'm saying. Number 11 is that the imagination can be an amazing, wonderful thing, but it can also be a massive hindrance. Literally, my whole life has been a kind of battle with my imagination. I use it for so many things. I'm always daydreaming, I'm thinking of ideas. It helps me create this YouTube channel, helps me to create drawings, different things I make, and it's amazing. But if you use it wrong or abuse it, let's say, then it can be a massive, massive hindrance. It can cause no end of trouble, and I've been on the receiving end of that. I'm sure many of you guys have. It can just wreak havoc because you can constantly imagine things going wrong and things you don't want to happen. So that's what I've been learning to do, is literally training my imagination to work for me, and it feels so much better. Number 12 is life doesn't play out like a Disney movie, as everyone knows. It doesn't happen like you see it on TV and in movies, but half the time it's a lot more interesting. I think when I was younger, I kind of thought you just grow up, you get married, you get a certain job, you potentially have kids, and it would all just kind of fit into place, just like it does on TV. And really, it's nothing like that. You just make choices as you go along. Sometimes those choices work, sometimes they don't. And your whole life, you're just kind of putting puzzle pieces together and making decisions in the moment. And that's it really. I mean, it's not really a Disney movie. A lot of people don't do half the things that they did in those movies, but their lives are just as fulfilling. I still love watching Disney movies though. So number 13 is the fact that a lot of people seem to put their self-value on how many friends they've got. I would much rather have just a couple of real friends than a ton of fake ones. I have seen so many people that have got loads of fake friends that talk about them behind their back, and it's just not real friendship at all. Whereas me, I haven't had lots of friends most of my life. I've got the odd couple who are really good friends, and to me that's a lot more important than having loads of different people that don't really mean anything to you, just like Facebook friends, like 200 friends that aren't actually real. I'd much rather have just a couple that I'm close to, actually connect with, rather than loads of just random people who you could do without, quite frankly. If you do genuinely have, though, a great, massive, big group of amazing friends, then that's great. I can't see anything wrong with that. Number 14 is falling asleep in movies becomes more frequent. That isn't a thing at all. I mean, I'm not old, I'm 25, but what I'm gonna say is ever since I was younger, I just get bored in movies. I fall asleep. I just can't help myself. I start watching something, even if it's really good. It can be Harry Potter and I still fall asleep. I don't know, something about the TV. Something that the TV gives off just makes me fall asleep, and that's that really. So I could say that's down to my age. It's definitely not, it's just down to me. That's the fact for you. It should be in 50 facts about me. I fall asleep very easily. Number 15, you can never get bored of watching Friends. I hope there's not many of you watching this video who are going to say to me that you don't like Friends. In the UK and the US, it's probably the most popular. That show has shaped my TV viewing since I was about 12 years old. I used to watch it every single night for an hour, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock, Friends every single night. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. I moved out and I thought, oh, I can't watch Friends anymore. Then it came to Comedy Central. I watched that on a loop. Then we downloaded it, and I've literally just been watching Friends since, like, for more than 10 years now. Who doesn't find Ross's tan funny? I can't. I'm yet to find a person that tells me that that isn't funny. Number 16 is some foods that you actually hate do grow on you. There's been many things in life where I'm like, that food is disgusting. I'm never eating that food again. So gross, I hate it. So I've come round to it a few years later when I'm a bit more optimistic. I'm like, I'll give it a go just to find out and see if I really do hate it as much as I thought. And I don't. I actually love it. Now, a prime example of this is olives. When I was younger, I tried them. I tried one out of a jar. I thought it was the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten. And then John was eating them about 10 years later. So then I said, I'll just try one again. Ever since that moment, I absolutely loved them, to the point where it wasn't just something I enjoyed, but I was obsessed, almost to the level of cheese for a while. One thing I haven't grown into though is Marmite. Still don't like Marmite. Number 17 is your partner can also be your very best friend. It's cheesy, I know, but John is genuinely my best friend in the whole entire world. I get on amazingly with him. Obviously, no relationship is perfect, but I do consider myself to have a very good one, and it is like living with your best friend. It's really good. We get on so well, we do so many things together. I just feel grateful for that, really. It doesn't have to be a boring married couple kind of cliche that a lot of people say. We're not married, but if we were, you know, you get to a few years in and you think, oh, this person's boring now. Not at all. It's so fun having a best friend partner. Number 18 is mental health is very important. Don't need to say that. I mean, the news tells you that. Everyone says that. But what I do think happens is a lot of people talk about the negatives of it and how you can't do anything about it, but really you can. There's many things you can do. I've done something about my own, and you just need to work on it. There's so many things out there that can help you, and then when you do that, you're going to live your best life. So make sure you work on that if you need to. Number 19 is how weird is our memory. I will constantly remember songs from absolutely years ago. I haven't sung them in years. I haven't tried to remember the lyrics to the song. I don't even like the song half the time. And yet I still remember all of the words. And then I think to myself when I'm making my lunch in the kitchen, oh, I better get some bread out of the freezer. 5 seconds later, that thought's gone and I've forgotten and I've gone to work. And then I need to think about the fact of, oh, I need to go and buy some bread now. Who knows how our brain works, but it is very random, the things we remember. Number 20 is a bit of a reminiscent thing. I'm really happy that I was born in the 90s. Everyone says this about the decade they were born in. Oh, I love the 80s, 70s, 90s, 2000s. I actually do think the 90s was a great time to be born because how much has changed since 20 years ago. When I was 5, I was just learning about computers. I think there was like one in some offices and it was just really old, didn't really do much. The internet was starting to become a little thing, like a little glimmer. People did use it, but it was incredibly slow. You go maybe 10, 12 years down the line and everyone's got computers, everyone's got laptops, everyone's got mobile phones. Most of these are now smartphones, so you pretty much have a computer in front of you all the time and they're tiny, and just technology has gone absolutely crazy. I mean, they're making cars that drive themselves now. And you think, because you've grown up with this, it doesn't seem that weird. A lot of younger people now who are in generations after me aren't going to understand this. They'll have been brought up essentially with just a tablet from day one. But for me, I've seen it go from literally nothing to just being the biggest thing on the planet. And it's crazy. Number 21 is there is no set way to live your life. I already knew this, it wasn't something I've learned recently. In 2019, it seems that you can do anything you want. There's literally no limits to what you can do. Everyone is just free to be themselves. I think that's becoming a thing now, that everyone can just make their own choices, do their own thing, and just be accepted for it. I don't think everything is accepted, but a lot more is accepted than it used to be, and I think that's great because it means everyone can express themselves more, and I love to express myself. Number 22 is that you're never too old to learn something new. That rhymes, doesn't it? 22 new. That wasn't intentional. You're never too old to learn anything. You can learn at any age. When I went to school, I couldn't learn to swim. I had 3 years lessons. They even gave me an extra year because I was so bad at it. I couldn't do it and I just kind of gave up on it. And then I went swimming and I went on holiday and I just was frustrated with the fact that everyone around me could swim and I couldn't, and I just thought this is so annoying. So I took the plunge, no pun intended, and I learnt to swim. I took adult swimming lessons and nowadays I go swimming once a week. I might not be the strongest swimmer, but at least I can do it. So that's something that just proves to you that anything you want to do in life, you can do it, you just have to put in some effort. So we're getting towards the end now, we just have 3 left. And number 23 is not all questions need answers. If you knew me in real life, you would know that I'm a person full of questions. Always questions. Questions on anything. Questions on everything. Constant. I just have a question just bursting into my head all the time. It's something I'm trying to stop because not all questions need answers. Silencing your mind, chatter, and just constant what ifs and buts and what could happen then, or what should I do here? Just ignore it because half the time it's not important and it really makes your life easier. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say is not all the questions you have in your head. They don't need answering, just leave them alone. They're not important. Number 24 is one of my favourite characters who, if this wasn't a Harry Potter shelf, I'd totally have on my shelf, is Elsa from Frozen. Frozen's a love-hate film, but I personally love it. I went to see it twice in the cinema and I normally don't even go to the cinema, so that shows that I really did like that film. I don't know why, but I've never been so obsessed with a Disney princess as I was when Elsa was in Frozen. I loved it, and bearing in mind, at the time when Frozen came out, I was probably like 20. Outgrown the phase of really being into princesses. But nonetheless, I was obsessed. I had the soundtrack in my car, I loved it. And I think one of the reasons I liked that film was because she was so independent. She didn't care at all. She was just like, I'm just forgetting this. I'm just gonna let it go. And I thought, that is the way I want to live my life. I want to be like her. And I really think that that song has a lot of good morals, and I try and do it because letting it go really does help. So number 25 is a birthday / Christmas related point. And that's basically just to say that when you're an adult, you can get just as excited about Christmas and birthday. It doesn't matter how old you are, just make the most of it. Nobody around me will forget that my birthday is coming up. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I don't want to turn this age, so I'm not going to really talk about it. I'm just like Buddy the Elf at Christmas, Santa! Basically like that, just for both occasions. That that's the end of the video, Potterpuffs. I really hope you've enjoyed it. It was a new style for me and I intend on making more lists because I love making lists. So I think this is a perfect way to do some fun videos and you can learn more about me. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you do give it a big thumbs up and leave me a comment down below to tell me which of those facts you found most relatable, or if there's any that I missed that you potentially think could have been in the list. I will see you very soon. Have an amazing rest of the week. Bye!